Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we, at this juncture, have a model where we have individuals who are people present in the population. We have homes, and these homes are now distributed around the environs of Sydney. And then we further have clinics, which are placed in known geographic locations within the Sydney area. Are we all pretty much at this area, at this level? Please, anyone raise their hand if you need Annie to help you here, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now further explicate this model in terms of some of its components. So, one of the first things we're going to do is we have these homes, but the homes are as yet disconnected from the population. We have people. The people are not yet geographically situated, and they have no clear relationship with these homes. So I'd like to work with you to place these people in these homes, in fact, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a person, and we are going to give this person a home, okay? This home is going to be one of the many homes that exist there, and we're going to go pick amongst those homes to assign to the person. And as I said, there's going to be a specific thing I need to ask you to do, because we're adding this into a model where person already exists. So I'd like you to go drag a parameter into person, and this parameter will be called home. It's their home. And the type of it will be what? What do you think the type will be? What sorts of values does this hold? Home. It's a home, ladies and gentlemen. It's a reference to a home. Okay? This is going to be their home. And we are going to situate them soon enough physically within that home. Okay? But first we need to assign them. We're going to assign them to homes. Okay. Now, the tricky thing here is that we have a population of homes and a population of persons, but because we created persons prior to homes, when we're assigning the characteristics of people, homes don't yet exist. The homes are not yet populated with their locations. And we need them to exist. We need them to figure out what homes are where so that we can assign them to people. So there are several ways we could skin this cat, but the way that I'm going to suggest here is a way that is simple, although of incomplete implications for me. I'm going to try this. I think it should work just fine, but I'll ask you to bear with it. And I'd ask you not to do the same until I have performed my action and confirmed the results. Enter this? Okay, the deal is, it's just due to the happenstance of what order we added these things. We added persons because this was a pre-existing model. Persons were there already, and then homes only later. If we had added them the different way, if we had added homes before persons, we'd be all hunky-dory, we'd be fine. So I'm going to get rid of population by deleting it here. Okay, I'm going to cut this component of the model. Then I'm going to paste it back in. Okay, there it is. Now it's back. Now we've added homes before population. Okay, I think this works okay. But I'd ask you to give me a moment to verify this. May I ask for such said indulgence? Thank you. So I will now investigate, and it shouldn't be long. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the population is what you will do in a moment. I'm going to go to the population. And do you remember, where do we assign characteristics of the population? Does anyone remember? Well, it's associated with the population. It specifies the initial population's characteristics right here. Remember that? For example, their sex, their birth time, their initial smoking status. Do you remember that? It's associated with the population. So let's take that and let's give them a home. Okay? Great. So what we're going to do is we are going to put down homes.random here. Okay? Now, I'm not asking you to do it first. I want to verify that this works hunky-dory before you do that. Okay? And the other thing which I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to actually, we're going to collectively need to fix up this add population, because each of the population needs a home. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to walk you through it. So for a mother, if she gives birth to the baby is going to, guess what? Where is that going to go? Same home, the mother's home. The home, ladies and gentlemen, of the mother. Wouldn't have it any other way. And next, for immigration purposes, when people come into the model via immigration, we need to lend them a home. And I'm not going to get into contentious issues here. I'm just glad I'm not giving this talk in the U.S. Yeah, right. Moving right along, we're going to place them in a random home. Okay? Homes.random. We're going to place them in the White House. Actually, the mayor of Boston has said they're allowed to stay in City Hall, which is extraordinary as well. But we're going to place them in a random home. Okay? Here we go. There we go. And now I'm going to try running this. So I'm just asking for your pardon, just for me to investigate whether things are hunky-dory. So let's go down here, and I'm going to go down to the population of people. So wherein lies the people? There it is, population. Here's a person, and they have a home. They are lent this home. This next person up has a different home. They are sorted among the homes in a random way. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to report to you that the experiment is a complete success. Okay, so with steeled by a resolve, buoyed by that successful experiment, we now press forward as a group. And I, as your scout, will highlight a few of the needs. So, ladies and gentlemen, repair to Maine. I would like you to go highlight population. And with delicacy born of heedfulness, I'd like you to right-click on this and indicate cut. You should see the population disappear. Immediately following that, and before turning your attention to anything else, I would like you to then, you could go up and do edit, paste, or you could right click at a place and do paste, or you can do Control V or Command V. No. And it should reappear. Do you see that? Okay. So what that's done, what that sleight of hand has done, has achieved a twist of fate. So basically what we've been able to do is have that population now be able to be assigned homes that already exist, because these homes will now be populated prior to the population. It depends on which order they get added to the model. The order with which they get added. Homes has now effectively been added before the population, not after, and hence it can refer to that. Okay? Yes.
Do you have to do that for the clinics as well?
No, because people. Good question. A person is going to be opportune in their selection of a clinic. It's going to be based on the nearest clinic, and rather than binding them to a fixed clinic, we're going to have that computed dynamically so that we can add clinics over time to the model and see the effects born from that addition. Good question, but we won't need to do that. Yeah. If we did, if people had assigned medical home at a clinic, then we'd need a similar. Actually, but clinics collection is already in the model too. Okay. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have you done that then? Okay. Did you have within person a home as a parameter? Okay, you do have that? Okay, then I'd like you, within the population, when we're assigning those characteristics to the population, I'd like for the home to say homes.random.
Can you repeat that?
So each person, as I understand prior to your break, each person was lent a home of type home, right? Now, perhaps that was after the break, but before my experiment. Then, I'd like you to go to population, and for the home, I'd like you to indicate homes.random, so a random home. I'll put it up on the big screen. Okay. For the characteristics of their home in the initial population. Do you see that? See or not? Okay, yeah. Cool. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, next we have to fix up two other areas. The first will be in delivery. Where is delivery occurring in this model? Where are bursts being added? In the person, because it's associated with the mother, right? Here we go. It's associated with this delivery transition. Do you remember that? We are lending the baby. Remember, since we added a parameter to person, now every time we add a person to the population, we need to specify the value of that parameter. We wish to. And so here, we need to specify, so when we're adding this person to the population, this new baby, what is their home? We're going to give them the mother's home. And if we want to be more specific about it, and probably for clarity it would make sense, it's this dot home. It's the mother's home. Be clear, because this is occurring in the context of the mother is engaging in delivery, this is referring to the mother. Is that okay? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the other place we add people to the population is where? Immigration. You folks are great. This is a really impressive group. Okay, let's go to my immigration event. And for the immigration, we're adding the immigrant to homes.random. Okay? Homes.random, placing them in a random home, randomly selected home. Incidentally, we could add a home. It's actually not a bad idea. We could add a new home and have them go into the new home. What do you think about that?
Let's do that.
You want to do that? Want or not?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for the immigration event, okay, you sure you don't want them to go direct to the White House? So here we go. My secretary, Christine, is afraid I'm going to have a hard time penetrating the U.S. border from now on. I'm going to seize my Nexus card, send me to the clinker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to do the following. We're going to say, I'm gonna remember which home it is that gets created. I'm going to say new home equals add underbar home. Or add homes, sorry. Add homes. That's what it is. You'll notice that there's a method in main called, yes, this is in main, so it's fine. It's add underbar. They're just like there's an add population, there's an add homes. Oh, and then we need to specify the point. Where does this go? And where are we going to place it? At a random place within Sydney. Now we could place them all in Sydney 1 or Sydney 2 or Sydney 3, which would be interesting geographically to see. But let's just do Sydney dot random region inside dot random point inside. And I'll put this up on the big screen, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So basically, we're naming a home. We're calling this. So when we call add population or add homes, it actually returns a reference to the thing that was added. So like if there's a baby and we do add underbar population, we get a reference to the baby. And we could then, for example, place the location of the baby, the location of the mother in that previous version of the model. We could place it nearby. Or we could send the baby a welcome message or something. Here we're adding a home in, and we're adding it in a certain location. So here we're saying, Sydney, give me a random region inside of you, and for that region, find me a random point inside of it. This dot, this is kind of like Sydney's, we're saying basically, ask Sydney about random region inside of it, and then for that region, having received the region from this, ask for the random point inside of that. Okay. That'll be the home. That's the new home. And then what are we going to do with this new home? We're naming it new home. This is just a reference to this home that's been added. It's been added in up in the homes. What do we need now to do with it? We need to place them so that the person who's added is placed in that new home. Are we okay with that? So the last argument here is new home. Are we okay? Okay, I would suggest that you build, and I would further suggest that you would run. Okay, who needs TA help? The TAs sit yonder, and help is needed in Sector 2. Who else needs TA help? This group demonstrates a remarkable degree of facility in manipulating the GIS functionality. This has converged more quickly than I could have hoped. More quickly, certainly, than I feared. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, those who need no TA help, I would invite you to run the model. And let's observe the resulting dynamics, shall we? What's going on over time?
So for each new immigrant, we have a new home.
We have, each
For
new immigrant has a new home.
Initial population, for every 3, we have 1 home.
That's correct, yes. Yes. So we could have them join an existing home with a certain probability, otherwise go to a new home. But Sydney is,
Big enough.
Sydney does have quite a few immigrants. And some of them will then have children. And where will those children go? To the same home. So they'll start families, and with those families will be growing number of other individuals. Right? See or not? Okay. I can vouch from direct experience that immigration to Australia is no small matter. We brushed with that here. There was somehow a perception that in order to come teach this course, I had applied for immigration and seek the counsel of an immigration lawyer to stand before you. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, okay, so we've achieved an additional level of functionality. Now, what we need to do is we need to actually place a person in each home. Just like FDR talked about a chicken in every pot, we're going to have a person in their home. Okay, I know that's an odd analogy, but each person is going to be associated with their home. Okay, are we ready for this? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to person, and we're going to add a state chart to person. The state chart, I have multiple purposes in doing this, and I'm going to do it in a way that is going to teach some lessons. It might not be the way I do it with a highly experienced person, but it's going to teach some lessons. Okay, here we're going to go. We're going to have a care-seeking state chart. Care-seeking state chart. Okay. Okay. And this care-seeking state chart, ladies and gentlemen, is going to have several states, okay? So the first of those states is going to be not seeking care, okay? And subsequently, we're going to have another state which is in transit to care, and yet another one will be a state for, right. Another one will be under care, and then finally they'll go back to the original state. Okay, so here we are, just reviewing. Right. So the states will be not seeking care, in transit to care, and under care. Okay? Okay. So here we go. So this will be not seeking care. Okay? Next, there'll be a state in transit to care. Next, there'll be a state under care, and then they'll return to not seeking care. Are we okay with this? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will next draw transitions betwixt these in this sort of way. You notice I'm just using these default transition types right now, which happen to be timeout. So it's going to be transitions of this sort of way. Now, the first of these transitions, not seeking care, is going to be from not seeking care to intransitive care. I'm going to seek starting transit to care is that transition. I'm going to put the name on it. Here we are. And that's going to be a rate transition. Okay? And the rate will initially be, we'll come back to this, but 2 times per year. Okay? 2 times per year. Now, this in transit to care state, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be, we're going to name this transition here for in transit to care. This is going to be completing transit to care. That's going to be its name. And it's going to be a new type of transition. It's going to be an agent arrival transition. It's when they arrive at their destination that they'll make that transition to being under care. Does that make sense? Until they arrive there, they'll be in transit. Once they arrive there, they'll be under care. Are we okay with that? Next. There'll be an individual who will be sent a message, what's called a message, and this will be called return home, this transition. They'll be sent a message and they'll return home. Okay? This won't be the only state chart that we'll be adding, but this will be an important one. Associated with mobility. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to do, this is going to be several steps, but we just added that. Are we okay with that? Good or not? Good. Okay. The first thing we're going to do for care seeking, when they come in here, and we could put it elsewhere, but we're going to put it here. For this entry point, we're going to place this person within their home. Okay? We're gonna have them go to their home. Okay. So here we are. Right. Actually, I know there's actually a better way to do this. So with your leave, we could do it here. This is the way I think I used to do it, but there's now a better way. May I show that to you? So, apologies for directing your attention here. This is one place we could do it. We could set them to be in a position of their home, but it's not a particularly privileged place. You're not sure where to look for it. Let's put it up here in Maine. And let's go to population. And do you see right now it says initial location of the person? They're placed in a rather uncomfortable location. Where is it? Sorry? 0. Do you know where that is? Yeah, it's off the coast of Africa. It's at the Greenwich Meridian, and then at the equator, which I think is somewhere off the coast of Morocco or what have you. Probably south of Morocco. Yeah, no, it's down by maybe Gabon or something. In any case, we don't want them there. Let's place them at self. That's their own home. Self is only used in this sort of context, ladies and gentlemen, when we're referring to their character. Well, self is rarely used. This is one of the contexts it's used. It's an any-logic thing. I'm going to refer to their home and get their latitude, since we signed the home here. Get latitude, and their home, get longitude. Get longitude. Get longitude. You ready with this? Get longitude. Are we okay with that? May we run it now? Run or not? I'll take that as run. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. Home cannot be. Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Winchell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Home cannot be cast. Okay. Okay. Oh, I know what. Okay. Well, okay. I've got my. Okay. So I'm building hypotheses. Maybe one hypothesis is maybe I did something silly, and within person, maybe home is marked as a being of type person, not being of type home. Let's go back to home. Let's go see what their home is. It couldn't be that though. Home is a home. Okay. Okay, this is most curious. That hypothesis is also inconsistent with other things. So home is clearly referring to a home. Fascinating. Okay, well, it's not a big deal. We have another way of doing it, but this is the more beautiful way. Okay, Winchell, any investigation you've been doing?
Well, no elements.
Okay, self.home.get latitude. Okay, so where is that error whence is that error being reported?
Person can't smoking that you get connections and turn into stream do filtering is versus that kind.
The count of connections?
Right.
Oh.
But the connection would be.
Okay. So. Are there connections still with designated as being? See, Winchell, it reverted to agent. We have to go to connections within no. Sorry, no. What am I doing? Connections in person need to be still with person.
Yeah,
No.
still person.
Well, that's fascinating, isn't it? Okay, Winchell, could you investigate that? I'll do a workaround with them.
Yeah, sure. You can just filter, do a type check or whatever, just to disable the function. Or you can do a type check, make sure that's a person, then you do.
Yeah, I could do that.
All that.
That doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. So this is what Winchell is saying is it's in the. He's been looking at this. Let's do a run here. Here we go. Run this again. I just want to see the error message. Here we go. And there we have this. And okay, smoking home cannot be cast to a person. And notice it's saying see the console for more details. So I'm going to go view the console here. Why isn't the console showing up clearly? Console. There it is. Okay. I can't see it here. Okay, so this is showing me where this thing is occurring for each remaining copy and to evaluate. Yes, some. Okay. Here it is. Count smoking connections. Yes, so Winchell is correct, as is normally the case. Count smoking connections. Okay. Yeah, Winchell, it doesn't make sense why their connections will now include a. Fine. Okay, not a biggie. Okay. Okay, Winchell, until you look into it, I'm going to do a simple workaround. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could go to Count Smoking Connections in person. So if you go to person and you find Count Smoking Connections, I'm going to right now return 0 until Winchell locates this problem. Okay? That will be fine. Winchell, so you're going to look into it, right? Yeah, thanks. Okay. Somehow they're being I know where it is, Winchell. It's a distance-based connection network.
Yes.
That's why. So they're being added.
In the same location.
Sorry?
In the same location.
Yeah, they're lie within the distance threshold. But we've said, Winchell,
Yeah.
set homes so that homes are only connected with homes.
Right.
Because what's happening is, I think we say persons can only be connected with persons, but homes can be connected with anyone.
Yeah.
Just go try that.
Sure.
See if it disappears, okay? Meanwhile, okay, ladies and gentlemen, so if you go to person, you go to Count Smoking Connections, have it return 0 for now. And that will forestall this issue, and then we'll be able to put in place the fix here. Because I suspect, Winchell, they're being connected via the network because they're live within close.
Yeah, it's a bidirectional network.
Because it's a bidirectional network. Yeah. So I mean, I can go verify that within home. Actually, there's another better. Okay, Winchell, actually, even better fix probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, folks, but you saw how I zeroed in via the console. It was something to do with this certain thing in count connections. So Winchell, basically, okay. I was thinking that maybe we could disable which connections are being made here, but no. Okay. Okay. Anyway, why don't you investigate that? See if you set connections to homes to only connect with homes. See if it works then. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. Count Smoking Connections, have it return 0L. And now you should be able to build it and you should be fine. Okay. Next, we're going to run here. And I would predict that error will disappear. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so people are coming in. But we should see people associated with homes here. So let's go to person. This person is associated with a home. So the question is, are they simply not visible in the home or what? So in order to investigate this, we're going to try to see maybe people are placed behind the homes visually. I didn't see them, but maybe it's just because they're hiding behind the homes. So ladies and gentlemen, go to main. And my hypothesis is they are there, but they are behind the homes. They're hidden behind the homes. Okay. So what we're going to do in main is we are going to change the ordering at which they're placed. Okay? So that they are placed in front of them. Now, interesting, Winchell. To change the ordering here in GIS space, it doesn't actually make this super easy. But okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to assume that they're for now, and we will see very quickly if they are via another route. There's a way to change the ordering with which people are placed on. If you give me a moment, I might be able to find out how it's different in this case. So here we'll go to presentation. Here we go, presentation. Here's the map. And nope, here we go, population. Okay, now Yeah, it looks like we can't change the order of appearance that easily. Okay, fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, oops. Let's now go to the person. I think they're present. I think they're behind the homes, and I'll ask Winchell to try to figure out. Annie, can you try to figure out GIS space? How do you change which order they appear, which is in front, which is in back? Yeah, we'll just open a GIS model and try to figure it out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So here, what we're going to do now for this new state chart is we're going to actually have the people head to a clinic, to the nearest clinic. In order to do this, we're going to add in a variable called nearest clinic. Okay? And this is because we're going to not only have to have them head to there, we're going to have to place them in that clinic when they get there. So we need to remember what that clinic is, to whither they are headed. Okay, nearest clinic. Guess what type of variable this will be? Clinic. It's going to be a clinic, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a reference to a clinic. Are you ready? Next. Nearest clinic is a clinic. Are we okay? It's a variable added to person. Put it alongside, I often group these things alongside the states. Here. Not seeking care, when they enter when they enter not seeking care, when they go on this transition starting to transit to care, we're going to do the following. We're going to figure out the nearest clinic. Nearest clinic equals okay. Next, we are going to go find the nearest clinic, okay? So we're going to say this. So to me, find the get nearest agent of main dot clinics. Let me put that up on the big screen. Here we go. We're setting that variable, the nearest clinic, to be whatever is the nearest clinic. As determined, we're considering all clinics, getting the nearest agents from those, and using that as my nearest clinic. Does that make sense? Now note that this get nearest clinic is being computed in GIS space. It's actually computing what's the nearest to me in space, okay? And I believe, let's watch this. Yes. I didn't dwell on it, but watch this. Get nearest, mumble. There's actually a way to do get nearest one in two different ways. As the crow flies and via the routes, via the routing on roads. So you can find the nearest one with roads. And in today's suburbia, where roads often wind around, they may be rather different. Crow flies route may be rather different from the other route. Okay? Okay, so for some reason it's not doing the autocomplete here, but we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, are we okay with that? Get nearest clinic. We're getting the nearest clinic. Get nearest agent of all the clinics. Okay? Okay, so they're going to be going there, but not only that, not only do we get it, what do we do with it? We head there, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we head there. So we're going to say move to nearest clinic. We're going to move to that nearest clinic. And that is going to move them to the nearest clinic. When I say move to, they head in that direction. They're actually going to be moving along at a pace set by their speed. Wherein lies their speed? Well, we can set it programmatically. We can set their velocity, but we can also set it, we could set it in code, in other words, or we can set it declaratively. If we go to a person, let us go look at the person, the declaration of person here. You'll notice person has associated with it a movement. And you'll notice that this is set initially to be 10 meters per second. Which, based on my experience of Sydney traffic, is generous. Along Oxford Street during rush hour, it's less than that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, shall we run this thing? What should we expect to see? Well, one thing we'll actually expect to see is something different. Okay, I see no representation of a person here. This is puzzling. Are the people in fact heading to the clinic? Let's go figure out if they're heading there. How would we figure out, is anyone going down this path? People have seen me try to figure things out before. How would I figure out? Trace ln. Practical skills, ladies and gentlemen. Trace ln. So we could say this, meaning the name of the person, is heading to clinic plus, this just means concatenate, in other words, append strings, nearest clinic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll put it up on the big screen. For your
Create clinics.
Sorry?
Do we create clinics?
Yes, you did.
Is that clinic collection?
There's a clinic collection. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you have to change that.
So why didn't it warn us?
Because you're broken again.
Sorry?
You might be broken again.
This should be clinic collection. Is yours telling you that?
Yeah, he's telling me that it doesn't exist.
Clinic collection. Okay, this is, so when autocomplete stops, it's time to close the model and reopen it. How's that for a rule? Okay, I just closed the model and now I reopen it, and let's see if it gives us a nice error message. That may sound oxymoronic, but let's go see. Ready? Okay, so I'll go back there. I did change it to clinic collection. And Winchell, did you hear that? So basically, it again had this problem where it was not warning of an error message. Right. So this was clinics. Watch this, and now it is indicating correctly that it's an unhappy camper. You want, ladies and gentlemen, important lesson. You want feedback about if there's something wrong with your model. You want to know about it as soon as possible. So it is actually again. Oh, now it says it's a happy camper. Is that right? The problem is that monitor is larger than mine, so I can't tell. It seems to be saying it's a happy camper. Okay, so let's run it. Let's run this. Here we go. And now, oh, okay. Okay, this is most, well, that's not what I expected, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, move to. Now, is this people moving to clinics? Okay, let's pause this for a second. I just want to make sure this is build. I can't see there. Does that say build completed successfully?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, we still have here a network that's being imposed, and that was the problem that Winchell had noted before, right? This is fine, but we should also see people, and they should be associated with a home, and they should be actually starting towards the clinic. They should be actually moving towards it in an obvious way. So I would have expected to see that here as a sign of clear movement. So let's go try that. Let's go see, is anyone moving? Remember I inserted this trace LN? Is anything coming out of that? Let's try this. Here we go. Yes, they're heading to the clinics. So they think they're moving to the clinic. I'm wondering where they are located.
House is moving.
What's that? So I'm wondering, are they located? So in terms of a hypothesis for what's going on, one hypothesis, they're actually not located here. They're still in the South Atlantic.
Did we assign a picture to the agents?
Yeah, the agents had a picture from yesterday.
No, that's
So
my memory.
we position them according to their SES yesterday, right?
Yes, but we overruled that today by assigning them according to their home. So here's their picture. They have a little circle associated with them. So they're still given a representation. We should still be seeing circles. Okay. So two hypotheses. One is that they're present. They're just not being visible moving. Another is they're located somewhere else right now. Thank you. Okay. So let's go print out their location. What do you think? Let's print out their location. Great. Okay. We're gonna, someone, I was working one time with a small startup with an Estonian employee, and she was unfamiliar with North American parlance. And we were working with a company doing hosting of websites that was based in Kentucky or Tennessee, I think. And we were having persistent problems with this server that we were using, this web server. It was a big issue. It was actually a web application server. It was a big issue. And the problem escalated until she got to the president of the company. And she talked to the president. The president was someone who spoke with a very, very strong, I think it was Kentuckian accent. And she was having trouble understanding all of what he was saying because there was a strong accent. And she got really freaked out because he told her at some point, he said, "Don't you worry, ma'am. We're gonna lick this problem. We're gonna lick that server." And she thought, what in the world is going on here? Talking about licking, we're gonna lick this problem. Okay. We're gonna lick it. So don't worry. Okay. So let's do a trace LN. Okay. Location. So my latitude is, when they come into the state chart, what is my latitude? I'm going to ask this dot get latitude. Here we go. Get latitude. Okay, and I'm going to do a similar thing for get longitude. Get longitude. In Australia, do they say we're going to lick it? Not really? Okay. Okay. Beat it. Yeah. Okay, I'm just printing this out when they're coming in. I just want to see where are they. Maybe they're in the South Atlantic. Okay, here we go. Maybe they're moving very slowly from the South Atlantic to the clinic at 10 meters per second. The long trek. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in order to see those messages, we have to go view the console here, okay? And I'm going to pause this and I'm going to, it looks like they're at latitude -34, longitude 150. That sounds Sydney-ish. That's Sydney, right? Okay, so that's apparently where they are. So why aren't they appearing? That's the question here. Why aren't they appearing? Okay. Okay, so I'm having trouble formulating some additional hypotheses here. So they are present. Let's figure out how we can see them. So, first of all, are they getting to the clinic? That's an interesting question. Maybe they're just maybe they're functionally working and they're getting to the clinic. We're just not seeing them. Let's check that, okay? I'm gonna see if they're getting to the clinic. So I'm gonna go to this transition here and I'm going to say trace ln, here we go, this plus arrived at clinic. I wanna see, are they arriving at the clinic? If so, they're not only moving, but arriving, which suggests that it's basically functional. They may be behind the map or something. Okay, I'm developing theories for what's going on that on which we will expound. But meanwhile, I secure comfort from the fact that Winchell is also working on investigating dysfunction. Winchell, can you characterize the status of your investigations? Okay, arrived at clinic. They're arriving at the clinic. Ladies and gentlemen. So, Winchell, can you characterize the...
Well, basically, somehow homework being inserted into the connection
Yes.
of person.
That's correct.
Despite that, we explicitly say that
Yeah.
the connections
Is only to be
should
person
be
to person.
Yeah, home should be home.
Yep, okay.
Somehow the type systems didn't call this. Literally speaking,
Great.
if you
Okay, but you're not seeing any hide nor hair of people, are you? You're not seeing people, in other words?
no.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are having functional display here. So people are arriving at the clinic. It's just that they are proceeding as apparitions.
So because we've got, the house is divided by 1,000.
I don't think so. I think they're at the house, they're located at a house, and then they're coming to the clinic, and they're reaching the clinic. We're just not seeing them clearly, and I've got a theory about why this is.
Changed it back to 3, maybe
You changed it
back to 3, divided by 3.
instead of divided by,
I had it at 1,000.
oh, you had the number of houses? Or the number, what did you have divided by 1,000? It was the number of homes?
Yes.
Population size divided by, yeah, that needs to be divided by 3 because the idea is it's on average 3 people per home. So yeah, divided by 1,000 will, that would yield potentially 0 homes. Yeah. Okay. Depending on the population size, that could yield. Okay. Yes.
So you need the difference between pictures and shapes.
Good question. I was wondering about that because we do have the person having a different. We have simply a shape, not a picture. And I was wondering, could that be it? I've never seen that before, but I can't rule that out, and it's easy to check. Here we go. Let's go to person. Go to person, and we have this little appearance for them. We're going to replace it by a picture worthy of them. So rather than having that sort of small thing, we're going to drag in a person here, like that. Okay? A person shape. I just drag that in from the palette. I don't think there should be any difference in how it's presented. I think what's more likely is that we have to tell it recreate the presentation. Okay, So having done that, okay, windshield. Okay, I am just, okay. Okay, yes, okay. There's this place where you can recreate do you remember that? You recreate the presentation?
Oh, right. It's in the population.
Yeah, it's in the population in advanced.
Scroll down, there's a
In
there's a button,
advanced?
Yeah.
It says
It already.
show presentation, right?
Yeah. It seems like this one is already created. You already created them. You can look at the shapes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, it seems it already did it. Okay. Here we
Oh,
go.
Actually, homes, not in person.
Sorry?
When you were looking earlier, that was actually home.
I think it's in every collection.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
What you were looking at was actually home.
Oh, it's in home?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking in person?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It should have been in population, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
What you clicked was actually.
that's fine. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Down here. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. So I clicked on this guy thinking it was population, but this guy is population. Yeah, okay. So this should be next to it, not above it. There we go. Good. Okay, so I just went to population, I scrolled all the way down to advanced, and I pressed show presentation. Now let's see if that wrought any difference. That's what I was thinking might be the issue rather than the type of illustration, but here we put, yeah, there we are. Cool. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, we have these individuals, and the individuals are actually moving about. I don't know if you can tell, but they are moving. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit, just to see if we can see. We're doing it a year at a time, which, a year is the time frame. So their travel is much quicker than the dynamics of the rest of the model. But they are actually traveling to clinics, hence a number of them are stuck at clinics. Do you see that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you see this thing? Annie, do you see this? Do you see people now?
Oh, no, conscious.
You have to go to, what's that?
I don't have the code to stop the connections.
Oh, to stop the connections, all you do is comment out that code. And so what I had suggested is just commenting this out for now and return 0 L here, and count connections.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that seems to be working now. Seems we're back in business. And ladies and gentlemen, I accidentally somehow did not delete this guy. We should have deleted this one here. But somehow I didn't delete it. Okay? So all we did is we substituted in this picture for person. And then what we did is we went to population, and Annie caught the key thing there. Down at the bottom, I was thinking I was looking for population, but she noted I was looking for homes. There's a thing that says show presentation, and I need to do show presentation. And then it actually showed. Okay? So it seems it's working now, that we have people there. The final thing that I suggested doing as a workaround while Winchell's investigating this is I went to count connections here. Count connections, count smoking connections, and I temporarily disabled this so I could return 0. Okay? Yes, Roberto.
About the smoking status, it's no longer active, that part of
Oh, it's active.
But it's not showing the colors because you removed the,
I removed the picture. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I could go redo that, and we probably will redo that eventually.
Or you change the icon from
Yeah, we'll change the color.
circle to the person.
Yeah, we'll be changing the color of that later. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So the logic associated with what we had earlier is still there. It's just now these people are in a GIS context, okay? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have people now, they're exhibiting care-seeking behavior, but what happens once they reach a clinic? They stay forever. They check in and they never check out. Okay? So what we're going to do right now is we are going to have them, we're going to have them go through a process at the clinic, okay? They're going to go through a process which is going to change their motivation level for as far as cessation and relapse, okay? So they're going to be seeking some sort of patch, for example, that might, a nicotine patch, which might lower their chance of relapsing, okay? So we're going to send them to the clinic. They're going to go to the clinic. They're going to get a nicotine patch or what have you, and that's going to lower their chance of relapse is the idea here, okay? So at the clinic, they're going to go through and go through the process, and they may remain motivated. They may become motivated to quit, and you get that patch or not. Okay, so if they're a current smoker, they'll be urged to quit. If they're a former smoker, or if they are committed to that, they're going to get a patch, which will make them less likely to fall back into smoking. So here we go. So there's going to be an extra bit of dynamics here, which is going to be associated with them. What we're going to do is we're going to turn our attention now to the clinic, okay? So in the clinic, we're going to build the clinic representation up in a stepwise fashion. We're going to build it in a mechanism known as discrete event modeling. With discrete event modeling, we're going to be adding a description of the workflow process as people come in, they're encouraged to quit, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to go to the palette, and we are going to go here to a thing called the process modeling library. Do you see that? It's the topmost palette. Do you see that? Okay, so I would like to go and place into the clinic here a set of mechanisms, okay? The first is we're going to place in here an enter mechanism, okay? And it's going to be called walk-in. Okay? They're going to walk into the clinic. Okay? There we are. Okay. Next, we're going to make this very, very simple at first. We are going to have a mechanism by which they are treated. This is going to be called treatment. And then we're going to have an exit, okay? They're going to exit the clinic. And this is where Jeff's quip. Sorry? It was this thing called the delay here. Okay. Okay. They're going to come in. They're going to be treated. Now the treatment time is going to be, so if you go to treatment, the treatment time is going to be between half an hour, and 1 hour. So this is hour. So this is minutes. So it's going to be 30. It's going to be a triangular distribution with a minimum of 30, a mode, and in fact mean of 45, and a maximum of 60. And for now, we're going to indicate it's a maximum capacity. Okay. Maximum capacity. They can come in and be treated in parallel.
And Dave, is the order of the parameter, the arguments that way? Like we've seen that it's like min, max, and
It actually will handle them in either order, and in fact, it was given as being in this ascending order. Yeah.
If you have it close enough, that is connected.
Yeah.
That one close one.
Yeah. So the default values for it, if you drag it in, Annie, the default values are also in that order. See, they're in that order by default. Yeah. Yeah. It'll handle it in any order, in fact. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be a treatment mechanism, and we're going to enlarge this treatment mechanism. Okay, and initially we're going to basically have this treatment affect the smoking status of this individual in a very simple way, because we're trying to finish this before lunch. This small component of it. So we're going to go to person, and we are going to add an additional transition back from current smoker to former smoker, which is going to be an additional type of transition of which I wish to teach you. It's going to be a transition called. This is going to be a new transition from that to that. It's going to be called treatment or counseling-based cessation. And it's going to be triggered by a message sent to this person. So I just drew between current smoking and former smoking. They're going to be sent a message by the clinic, which basically says, you are quitting. And we're gonna modify this so that instead it's gonna affect the relapse rate. But for now, I just want to have this because I think it's important you see how messages work. Now, they're going to be sent this message, and right now it's going to be unconditional. If they're sent a message, they're in the current smoking state, they will go to the former smoking state. Okay? To adapt Jeff's darn near immortal words, what this is featuring is something that's only a distant relative of our healthcare system. It's as if there's a unlimited array as you walk into the clinic of healing beams that will get you to quit. Okay, and we're going to add some realism to this, and we're going to de-beamify this clinic. Okay, so here we have no humans mediating this. They just walk in, they pass through this beam that takes about 45 minutes on average, and they emerge a quit man. And unfortunately, their quitting may not last long because they may fall back into relapse right now. But that beam has persuaded them to quit. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, in order to capture that, we now need people to actually engage in walk-in behavior. So that's our clinic, and we're going to elaborate this. We're going to have resources. We're going to have a treatment strategy that may or may not be successful in changing behavior. And we're going to be able to record the times that treatment takes in the service delivery. But let's go back to person. For now, we start simple. So, ladies and gentlemen, when they arrive at the clinic, let's put it here on the entry action to the clinic. We need them to walk into the clinic, okay? So this is what we need to do. We need to say nearest clinic dot walk-in dot take this. In other words, take me in to the walk-in clinic, okay? Okay, and I'll put this up on the big screen, okay? Here we go. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. So I'll put this up on the big screen here. This is what happens when they reach the clinic. They're taken into the clinic. Are we okay with that? Now, the final thing that's going to happen to complete this kind of circuit in the person, and then for now we're going to be able to elaborate the clinic a little bit, is they're going to need to be sent home with a certain message. Do you see this message? They're going to, basically, when they receive that message right now, they're also going to head home. So for now, this is going to be an unconditional message. When they receive that message, they'll head off to home. Okay? So when they've finished their beam treatment, they're going to go home. Okay. So what do we need to do for them to return home? Can anyone tell me? What do we need to do? What did we do when we needed them to go to the clinic? We said move to, right? So here we're going to move them home. This dot move to, and where is their home? That their parameter called home. So they just moved to home. Okay? Then they're going to go back and forth to home. Okay. That's what there is. Okay. Let's run this now and make sure that people are not being stuck at this clinic. And let's see what the clinic is revealing to us. Here we go. Here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, people are moving around. Some of them are attending to clinics. They don't seem to be moving back though. What is still missing? What is still missing? What's the key component? We have a transition that gets them to quit. We have a transition to go home. But what is that transition dependent upon? A message. And where are we sending the message? We're not yet. So at the conclusion of treatment, ladies and gentlemen, in the clinic, we need to send the person a message. Okay? Okay, this is what we're going to do. So when they leave this clinic, we're going to say agent.send. We're going to send the agent a message. Alternatively, we could say self.send, which will be basically this dot send, which is the clinic sends them a message. The message is cured, or quit, better yet, quit. And it sends it to the agent. You notice that you can refer to agent here, meaning that's the agent. This is referring to the clinic because we're in the clinic. Agent is referring to the agent who's circulating the clinic. Okay? So we send the agent a message saying quit. And by virtue of receiving that message, two things will happen. Who can tell me what two things will happen? They're both visible. Well, one thing is that if they're a current smoker, they're going to quit. The second thing is if they're under care, they're going to they are under care, they're going to head home. Okay? We're skipping some niceties that we'll come back to that are fairly important, but we're going to just capture this component. So now the clinic affects the person.
Can we just see that code again, that message?
The code for the message, sir?
The exit.
Sure, here, it's associated with the clinic, and I'll post it up on the big screen. So, on the exit from the treatment, we send the person a message. We exhort them, quit. Quit.
Quit.
That's right.
Wow.
And we send it, the clinic sends them this message, quit. And it's sent to the agent. Okay? And that receipt of that message causes them to do two things. Number one, it causes them, if they are a smoker, to quit. And if they're not a smoker, or in any case, it lets them head back home. Okay? Are we okay with this? Okay. Are you ready to run this thing? Ready or not? Okay, I'll take that as it. Ready. Okay, here we're going to go. Now we should see them perhaps briefly at the clinic, but I'm still seeing a large number of congregated clinics.
So return home is still unconditional, right?
It is, yes.
Shouldn't.
Yes. So I was expecting both. I was expecting them both state charts to process it. It's possible we want two separate messages, because yes, it's unconditional, and that was my deliberate choice because I want it to be hit by both state charts. But normally I only have a message processed by one state chart, and it's possible. Okay, we may have to elaborate it in a slight way here. So ladies and gentlemen, right-click on the model and do New Option List. And I'd like you to say Messages.
Mine's
Messages. Sorry?
Mine's working.
Yours is working okay? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll say Messages. And the messages will be quit, cessation aid, or return home, or actually departed healthcare, departed clinic. So there's an option list of messages: quit, cessation aid, or departed clinic.
Didn't quit in an exclamation point.
Yeah, but here you can't put that in. Yeah. These are the three messages. It's much more reliable than doing a string. Okay? Quit, cessation aid, and departed clinic. Okay? Okay. So this option list will have quit, cessation aid, and departed clinic. These are going to be three different messages. I was trying to overload two of them, but Winchell, did you figure it out?
Just really abandon the elegant solution. Go back to the Stone Age and the problem will be solved.
So you solved it with the Stone Age tool?
Yeah, just don't use the Java 8 functional programming or pipelines. I believe somewhere in the low level of any logic code, they didn't really follow the type promise that they give.
I see.
So
I see.
if you print out the connections, indeed, like home was being inserted into the connection. Although you specify the connection to be only for
Exactly.
the person. So just
Yeah.
really first convert them into object, which is of type. Converted them into array, which is of type object. Then you do instance of check, and then just to count it. It's really ugly.
Yeah. Okay.
But it will work.
Yeah, let's discuss over lunch. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, great. So we've added these messages. Now let's go set the message for quitting over here. If they've received the message on a particular message, the message will be quit, or call it messages.quit. In a general rule, it's not so good to use messages that are strings because you can mistype strings, you can have incorrect capitalization. It's very easy to be inconsistent with respect to them. So I'd like to make this messages.quit. For the return home, I'd like to make it on a particular message, messages.departed departed clinic. Okay? And we'll get to the cessation aid soon enough. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen. So now we have two separate messages, one that will get people to quit, one to depart home. And in the clinic, we're going to send one message. The first of those messages after treatment, we're going to send the messages.quit following the treatment. And then for the exit, we're going to have this dot send messages dot departed clinic, and we're going to send it to the agent as well. So they'll leave. And we're going to be separating those two, so we might as well do it now. Yes.
Can you go to like kind of something basic?
Sure. And I'll just check one final thing here and verify this. Okay. So here we go with connections. I'm just verifying. Okay. There's the final issue. Okay. The first thing I'd like you to do is go to person. I'd like you to go to person. And in person, there's an area that we said connections. Do you remember that? Connections are what receive a message. Okay? When you send a message, it's being processed by the connections. So I'd like you to go to connections. Do you see that? And right now, you notice that it says forward message to. Do you see these things? Right now, there's nothing to forward the message to the care-seeking state chart. You need to have that checked as well. So we're going to need that care-seeking state chart to process the message, okay? Do you see that? Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Next, I added, just to review, I added messages, right? I went here, said new, option list called messages, and the possible messages are those listed here, right? Quit, cessation aid, departed clinic. Remember that? Then I went to this transition from current smoker to former smoker, and on a particular message, I made it on a particular message, not unconditional. It goes from current smoker to former smoker. Okay? Next, I went over to this one here, and I also made this be dependent on the receipt of a particular message. The message being messages.departed clinic. Are we okay with that? Okay. And then in clinic, when it was at the treatment stage, I had it send a message, messages.quit to the person. That's the results of the beam. And when they reached the exit point, I had it send messages.departed clinic to the agent. Basically the same basic mechanism, but in one case, it's sending the quit message after treatment. and the other it's sending the departed clinic message. Okay? This is for when they're departed the clinic. Are we okay with that?
Just.
Okay. Would someone like more time here? Yeah. Okay. Okay. By the way, these messages, when they're sent, they get received by the agent, but then the connections routes them to various state charts. And I've noted in any logic that sometimes it doesn't seem, as you add new state charts, it's not always clear that it's adding them to what gets routed by the connections. Sometimes you have to go check, oh yeah, it's being sent. And here it wasn't being sent. That was the key problem. It wasn't being sent to the departed, to the care-seeking state chart. Okay? So, okay, there we go. Okay. Okay? That was one. That was when they departed the clinic. The other was this. This was when they were finished treatment. On exit from the treatment, we're sending them a quit message. This one, so this is when undergoing treatment with the beam. This is on exit. And actually, the treatment beam occurs before the exit. Yes.
Will that counselling induced cessation transition get via if they're a never smoker? Or only
No, it's only if they're a current smoker. So that message really won't have any impact on a former, right now, a former or a never smoker. We could add that, and we're going to be adding some dynamics to this after lunch. I think lunch is out there probably. Sorry? Yeah, thanks. Okay. Are people ready to try this? Okay. We're going to be slowly peeling back the onion and making it and discarding the treatment beam representation, which is a somewhat stylized representation of care seeking. Okay, now people are seeking clinics, they're temporarily present in clinics, and then they are leaving the clinic to go back home. You could see them moving back and forth. And if you were to go zoom in on this using the view menu, if you were to zoom in, you would in fact find individuals who are moving around, I believe, according to the underlying routes. Okay. Okay, so we have care seeking, we have the clinic actually effecting change on the part of an individual. Right now the change is mediated by sending a message, which is a very common way of dealing with other individuals. We often use it over networks for things like influence spread, etc. I'd like to highlight something else though, just before we break here. Is the lunch here?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like you to go to main, and I'd like you to go to the GIS map. And I'd just like to draw your attention to a few things here. On the GIS map, when you select it, you'll find that you can select different vendors for providing maps, including a variety of particular ones. You can use a different routing servers for figuring out routes by which they travel. And you can also say whether you want to consider road types that are bike paths, foot paths, rail, or car routes. Okay? So we can figure out by what mechanism can they get there. And and how to handle cases where no route can be found. Okay. You could further import shape files for GIS, and you could set some aspects as well for appearance here, and for sort of where you want the default view, where you want it to depict, and at what scale you want it to depict it. Okay. There's a further ability to specify the projection type of the map as well, which allows you to indicate, for example, if you want it rendered in different ways. You can also use a custom tile or route provider, which will allow you to use to not be dependent on these external resources, but one maybe within your lab or what have you. And there's some information that you can provide about routes and regions that you want to display. Okay, so what we have here is a GIS embedding of this functionality, and we have care-seeking behavior on the part of individuals. It is, to say simplified is understating it, the representation of the clinic, but it provides a basis for the next steps, where we're going to elaborate it a little bit and actually have individuals flowing in and being treated according to a well-defined process, okay? And I would just highlight the fact that in this latest rendition of the model, while my attention was predominantly on how people were exhibiting care-seeking behavior from the map as a whole, if we went to one of these clinics, for example, if we were to select this Barora clinic, you notice that we're having statistics on the number of people brought in on it over time, the number that have exited via this. So we're actually having people present for care and undergo treatment within the beam in a way that might impel them to quit. After lunch, we'll see a somewhat less, we'll suspend our disbelief less fully with what we represent after lunch, okay? We'll have an impact on cessation, relapse rates, and we will have a clinic flow that doesn't posit the healing beams of the future, but rather has resource limitations associated with conferring care, okay? So that's where we're going, but lunch is served, and I'll see you in what, half an hour? Or, yeah, okay, thank you very much. Yes.